So I think we're going to get started because time's money, as we say, right? So I'm Marjorie Tesser. I'm the editor-in-chief of MomEg Review. This is our 23rd year of existence and our 23rd annual print issue. Thank you, thank you. The cover image, which is pretty amazing, is by Anna Cullen, and it is after Klimt. And the idea is that after the kiss, that beautiful Klimt picture, the model then sits down, puts on her eyeglasses, and nurses her baby. So it's a good example for us of how we practice our art and also may practice family obligations. So joining me as hosts tonight are our two co-poetry editors, Cindy Veach and Jennifer Martelli. And so each of them is going to announce a set, and I will announce the final set. I just want to, I'm going to, at this point, turn the mic over to Cindy Veach. And before I do, I'm just going to say that her book launched yesterday. So,
oh, thank you, Marjorie.
Do a little Monster Galaxy promo right here.
And it has a Klimt artwork on the front,
and
which is so see that it worked out that way. Yes, Palace Athena. Well, thank you all for being here. And it was a pleasure to co-edit the poetry section with Jen Martelli, who we are tied at the hip when it comes to this journal and love being a team, very much so. Even those late night texts and early morning texts, you know. And Marjorie, we couldn't do this without you. And we're very grateful for all of our contributors. And we had a record number for this issue, I think over 600, 3 poems each. That's 1,800 poems, plus the fiction and nonfiction. And so we are just honored to have your work in this gorgeous issue and look forward to hearing you read today. So I'm going to introduce the first set of readers. I'll read your names and then I'll read your name right before you read as well. So we have Allison Macy-Steines, and I apologize if I mispronounce your name. I tried to find any difficult ones online, but I may mess up. Beth Bosworth, Carmen Farrell, Cynthia Marie Hoffman, Danielle Riccardi, Dion O'Reilly, Elizabeth Coleman, Emily Adams-Aucoin, Aneda Alcada. So the first reader is Allison Macy-Steines.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Okay, great. I'm super grateful to be here. A huge thanks to the entire MomEg Review team for putting together such a beautiful volume. I honestly cried before I made it past this cover art. I think these days I'm never not thinking about what it means to let creative work and motherhood live in harmony rather than just opposition. And I think every piece in here was such a celebration of that. Anyway, enough preamble. I am going to read a poem that I wrote about my daughter. I think she's somehow listening on Zoom with her. All right, May Poetry, turn your listening ears on, girl. I love you. Because the blue horse makes her belly laugh. A friend asks if I've been feeling flattened by time lately, and I feel my lungs ache for air. Somehow it's already late summer. The wheat is golden. The warm wind that I love at this time of year has returned, and all day long I watch my daughter, who can barely be called a baby these days. She sorts big tomatoes from small ones and puts them in bowls. She smashes blackberries, waves at traffic, and blows kisses to the dog. She picks wildflowers and throws rocks. She turns the tub faucet on and off and smacks a wooden spoon against the floor. Before bed, she pulls out her books, the one about the moon and the one with the owl, which compels us to take turns hooting aloud like small horns. When she flips to a page with a blue horse, she starts laughing. She laughs so hard she screams. She laughs so hard she has to lie down. She laughs so hard she gets the hiccups. Then she takes the book and presses the thick pages flat against the bed. She positions her feet on either side of the spine, so now it looks like she is straddling the horse. She holds the front cover with one hand and the back cover with the other to steady herself and lowers herself down to a crouch. She smiles at me, waiting, expectant, and right on cue, I pretend to close the book around her and she laughs some more. This is what it means to step inside story while time compresses us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Allison. Our next reader is Beth Bosworth.
Hi, I'm thrilled to take part in this reading and this listening, and thanks to Mom Egg Review. This is called Mountains. You climbed a mountain once. It was a bright summer day in the Ardèche. You were 21 and flying home soon to your mother. But that morning you were all right with the scrubby bushes around you as you climbed higher, and with the sky spreading across the distant valley, and also the life inside you, who calls just as you're settling down to work, to talk about her own life. Her partner and she have so little time. When they're with the girls, it's all about the girls who have so much to say about their own lives. She laughs. You tilt the phone. Once, when this daughter of yours was very young, two elderly women stopped you on the street. Poor thing, they exclaimed, as you shoved past. Your daughter lifting her hands as if to explain. Instead of mittens, she was wearing socks, one purple, the other black and white striped. Were you just hippies? She wants to know now. You sit up in your chair. I mean, she asks, who took care of me? You bring the conversation around to her partner's love of nature, the joy he takes in a trail into the hills or across a tundra, and how are the girls doing in school? When you hang up, though, the room feels different. Remember? It was a work day in Brooklyn, and you were pushing her stroller along sidewalks that had been cleared of newly fallen snow. You lived alone by then, the two of you, in that first apartment. Trash filled the backyard. A dog lived mostly alone downstairs. Already a street plow had shoved a snowy mound onto the curb. And though you were both almost late, you unstrapped her so she could clamber out of her stroller and climb up. The mound would be gone or too grimy after all by afternoon. You proffered your hand. She distinctly ignored it. She stood, her back to you, waving both socked hands and calling out to the jerkily advancing cars, "Hey, mister," she called, and "Not so fast, guys," and "Who's the king? I'm king," as in of the mountain, a game her preschool would soon ban for its antisocial nature. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Beth. Next reader is Carmen Farrell.
Carmen was having some tech
Yeah,
issues.
I wasn't.
Perhaps we'll circle back to her at the end. Maybe she'll get
Okay.
uh,
All right. Cynthia Marie Hoffman.
Great, thank you so much. I'm honored to be a part of this community tonight with these readers and the journal, which is so beautiful. I'm going to be reading a poem about a mother's desire to fiercely protect her child. Sharpest. The internet changes my search from what is the sharpest animal to what is the smartest, but I know what I'm asking. I've been training to keep my child safe since before I gave birth, pushed plastic prongs into the outlets so curious fingers wouldn't be stung by the buzzing in the walls, capped each corner of the changing table with foam. I lost the race before the baby was even out, when doctors hooked an electrode in the baby's scalp. I'd read not to let them do it. I knew that puncture would be my child's first sensation of the outside world. But also, I didn't want my child to die. 13 years later, I'm still a bird nesting with a cotton ball blunting my own beak, afraid of breaking an egg, my baby diving too soon toward the green blades. Every 2 weeks, I turn the cats belly up in my lap, clip their claws, gather the white tips from where they'd sunk to the carpet like shark's teeth. They don't make safety foam in the shape of all the things that might hurt. Words, machine guns, genders, mothers. I almost dropped the baby on the coffee table, which is a pane of glass. The baby just rolled out of my arms like a seal toward water. The worst thing about my mind is imagining I'll harm the people I love most. When Grandma died, we got her flowered pocket knife. I hid it in a drawer. But the kitchen knives remain. I have too often the need to slice into a warm animal to feed my family. The internet says I am a mama bear. A grizzly bite is stronger than a shark's. A bear tops 35 miles per hour when running. I would run away if I had to. So whatever hurts my kid, it won't be me. Again, I'd lie down and let them cut me open. Thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia. Our next reader is Danielle Riccardi. Danielle?
Hello, I'm glad you are here, and I'm going to be reading a poem, Inside the Walls, which is in the current issue of Mom Ink Review. Thank you. Inside the Walls, Ghost. I'm not sure which one of us is not truly here. You, a shape in the physical, a mountain, emotionless, silent, or me, unnoticed in the kitchen. A backsplash that blends with the wall. There are moments of recollecting. The clank of forks and knives against the yowl of 3 young mouths not wanting to clear the table. Weightless ghost, you and I now have time for golf and yoga. There are moments recalled from the busy days with a fresh family. First comes love. That's how the rhyme starts. Like spring poppies, bright red zeal catching the eye. Thank you.
Thank you, Danielle. Next, we have Dion O'Reilly.
Okay, can you hear me? All right.
Yeah.
What a bunch of great poems. Thank you. Mother's Day. The heron with a twisted wing haunts the field. Tiny pterodactyl flown in through a time hole. Things change because they have to. Some asteroid tossed lizards into air. Now they fly. My children ghost me because I couldn't stop my bullshit. None of the standard fare. No invasions of their bodies, no belts. No scotch for breakfast, no meth sores. I just didn't listen. I lectured about safe sex and junk food, delivered Dharma talks with a rat's nest brain. Maybe I was too hyper, worked too hard, insisted on going to the gym, whatever I did. It made for missed chances. Their little bird mouths were open and I starved them. The great blue in my field flips a rat, gulps it down his gullet. Then, when you see it, it's hard to breathe. Languorous takeoff, ancient flight. He got what he needed. Who knows what comes next?
Thank you, Dion. Our next reader is Elizabeth Coleman.
Hi,
Elizabeth?
can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm going to read a poem called As If It Were My Name. A couple of things. A kopje is just a small hill in a generally flat area. Mémé, which is French for grandma, is M-E accent aigu, M-E accent aigu, and I lived in France and was once a French teacher. As if it were my name. I have pierced my ears against my mother's will and driven to Mardi Gras for the hell of it. I have lost the plastic jewelry I dove for there, irreplaceable now, and lost the coral ring my parents gave me down a drain. I have been bitten by a wasp in an outdoor shower in Tanzania and walked on a rock with dozens of crocodiles in the waters surrounding it. I have seen 1,000 penguins cowering from cold in homemade shelters, and I have breathed in their pungent odor. I have looked into a baboon's eyes and heard another in his troop barking to the endless plains on a kopje like a trumpet. I have given birth to a boy who became a man who can juggle and do handstands, and to a girl who climbed the second highest volcano in Ecuador. And now the children of those children call me Meme, as if I were a French grandma, as if it were my name.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Next, we have Emily Adams-Aucoin.
Thank you. And I apologize for my voice in advance. I am getting over laryngitis, so hopefully it will hold. All our dependent kingdoms. I wanted a Xanax so badly that I felt it was all I was, just that longing like another pulse. Little orange lifeboat, storm-wrecked ship. I pinky promised the What to Expect book that I was done with all of that. Oh, land of forgiving angles, land of poetic reframing. I expelled myself from you, my country of beautiful intoxication. I could not keep it for myself because I could not give it to my baby, which was the new measure of if I could or could not keep a thing. For months, it was difficult to tell where my jaw was supposed to naturally fall, being banned as I was from my state of rest. I know people whose doctors have said that in small doses, one could hypothetically, if one were spiraling, reeling. It's all very precarious. You take the pills or you don't. The worst happens or it doesn't. This new world is sharp, languageless, mapless. We are supposed to make it again and again from scratch. Thank you.
Thank you. And the last poet on my list, Aneda Al-Qaeda. I hope I said that right, Aneda. Is Aneda here?
No, I guess she couldn't make it. Okay. Thanks, Cindy. Thanks so much. And thanks to all those beautiful readers. Let's give them another little hand, another silent hand. And announcing our next set will be Jen Martelli.
Hi, everybody. It's so wonderful to hear these words that we saw on paper. If it's even possible, they're even more beautiful. So I'm really moved by these Zoom readings. Huge thanks to Marjorie. It's really an honor to read the poetry, and of course Cindy. Forgive those texts in the mornings. I'm 3 hours ahead of Cindy, so when I get a great idea around 9 in the morning, it's 6 in the morning there where she is. So forgive me. But this has been an amazing issue. It's just wonderful to curate it, and thank you, obviously, to all of you who sent in, trusted us with your work. It's really an honor. It's humbling. So I'll read my list, and then I'll call the readers. This is my group: Helen Ruggieri, J.L. Conrad, Jia-Rui Cook, Judith Sanders, Kate Northrop, Laura Grace Street, Mary Lou Buschi, Mary Slechta, and Olga Livshin. And our first reader is Helen Ruggieri.
Hi, I think I've gotten it. I'm not a techie person. I'd like to read well, it's creative nonfiction, but it's the piece that was in this issue. And it's part of a long manuscript I'm putting together about women who've reached a dead end in their lives. But calling a manuscript dead ends is a dead end, I found out. Anyway, it's called Running Water. She was charged with endangering the welfare of a child. Someone reported her to social services. 4 children, a cat, and 2 dogs were living in the apartment behind the empty storefront on Mill Street. There was no running water. She is to appear in court Friday. On Mill Street, the stones grind exceedingly fine. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Helen. Our next reader is J.L. Conrad.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Okay, great. I'm going to read the poem from the current issue of Mom Egg Review that's also in my new chapbook, which is called The Snatal House, just published by Harbor Editions at the end of April. And the poem is called What It Is Like. Branch curled like a wishbone on the sidewalk, bones clicking each time the heel of my right foot strikes the pavement. The perfect curve of the baby's skull. If by skull you mean the bone that pressed against my bones, and if by scalp you mean that which was punctured and bruised, but healed later, and if by mouth you mean that which emerged ready and willing, then this would describe the beginning, bricks luminous at the moment of eclipse. I don't usually do this part, the nurse says. A feeling like sand at the back of the neck, the spine an hourglass, the bruise on the baby's head an unwelcome guest, likewise the scar. Afternoon light leaks from a window frame. You should write this down, someone tells the husband, because she won't remember. She will ask the same questions again. The tight fists of peonies unfurl.
Thank you so much, and congratulations on your chapbook. That's wonderful. Our next reader is Jia-Rui Cook.
Hi, everyone. My name's Jia-Rui. Nice to meet you. It's okay.
I'm
All
so
right, it's
sorry.
It's okay. I figure I would just say it so you knew. My poem is called Flight 0024, 11 hours, 35 minutes. It was a flight from Paris to LA, and felt like I had this sort of laugh cry emoji during this flight the whole time. So, okay, here goes. 30 minutes after liftoff, you decide you should probably not watch Magic Mike with so many people around. You're settling into what is definitely, undeniably a nobler choice, a subtitled version of the 400 Blows, when the 4-year-old says, "I'm tired of movies." You litigate the merits of Paddington with an intransigent opposing counsel. You reach a temporary deal involving chocolate ice cream. You see brown plachettes pool on your shirt, mucky meltwater drip from a glacier that was always fated to slide into the sea. This is the fair price to pay. You remember you packed a coloring book and bento box of snacks. You realize you put them in the checked luggage. You are saved by the arrival of lunch. The 4-year-old spills a full cup of water on the crotch of your pants. You ask the flight attendant for a blanket to cover up the blot. Bonus, the blanket keeps you warm. When the 4-year-old finally naps, she lies only on the right side of your body, causing your back to throb and that arm to go dead. You are unable to go to the bathroom until she wakes up. You and the 4-year-old cram into a bathroom the size of a refrigerator. While you're sitting on the toilet, she runs her fingers along the sink, the door handle, the flap of the trash bin. Then she plays with your bangs. Dignity is one of those nonsensical jokes she loves to tell, but you fill your wine glass with absurdity too and sip freely. How can a hulking piece of metal sail above the clouds? Why does the day start only when a bunch of beeps say so? Why don't you ever look in the windows of the cars next to you on the freeway? How does sitting still get you anywhere?
Thank you, Jari, and huge apologies for mispronouncing your name so badly. Our next reader is Judith Sanders.
Hi, everybody. My piece that's in the issue is too long to fit in my 3-minute slot, so I'm going to read instead a poem from my book, In Deep. This poem is called Bus Ride Through Rome with 21-year-old Son. I want to say, look at that carved door, at those begonias on that balcony, that funny sign, how that woman gestures while talking on her cell. I want to lean close, inhale the buttered waffle smell of your hair, and whisper over the bus's bang and rattle. Look at that street performer, that fluted column, those nymphs cavorting on that fountain. Look how intricate it is, how amusing, how splendid. Long ago, I broke myself in two to give all this to the unknown person you would become. But that place is far away. We don't go there anymore. Soon we could swing through the market, suck on fresh peaches, buy eggplants for dinner. I'll want to tell you, turn right, turn left, bossy as a GPS. But you have an excellent sense of direction. You know where you are going. Look, look, I'll want to say, panting to keep up, at the sycamores arching along the river. But you'll be busy memorizing street names, the locations of ice cream shops. The places you want to go are ahead. Here's my stop. Here's where I get off.
Thank you so much, Judith. Our next reader is Kate Northrop.
I'm going to read my poem from the new issue. And thank you to Marjorie and Jennifer and Cindy, not only for the issue, but for creating this space for us to be here this afternoon. It's really lovely. My poem is titled Her Four Handsome Sons. Her four handsome sons. They sound like a fence post, like a rail, standing over a field when the field is roiling around with redwings. They sound like a dinner party, a ship, a din left against the horizon, but bending back in perfect shape. How they appeared at the shoulder, rising like a billboard from fog, I don't know, but sounding so like teeth. Teeth narrow inside as stairs through theaters, as a street along which windows align. Anything you want to say, they'd said. Leaves circling in the wake of the car like the backs of eels. So I know they missed me and my enormous mouth. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Kate. Our next reader is Laura Gray Street.
Hi, thank you so much. This is such a beautiful issue. I just have to say, my Halloween costume this year was Klimt's gold paintings. Complicated, but it worked. So it's a beautiful cover as well. So I'm reading my poem from the issue, Mothers, Literal and Planetary. Possible imminent dam failure. I will be grateful for bodily sense, for sentience, as ongoing rain overruns every municipal inch, bogs, house, and yard, and the pissy stink of mildew curdles the air. Things could be worse. They are worse elsewhere. The first dying I knew was the copperhead my mother flattened with the car. She'd found me toddling toward the mottled coil, babbling pretty, grabbing it, friend. She hip-slung me into the front seat, sped over and reversed, sped over and reversed. The gut-squandered snake oozed as she turned me over her knee, spanked hard, crying, "Don't you ever, ever do that again." Both of us soaked through with snot, tears, my sodden diaper. Maybe the city shouldn't have pulled the plug. Look at the consequences. All the gaping fish suffocating in thickening mud as the swollen lake drains, emergency sluice open for good now that the dam is terminally compromised. Fish being sensibly sacrificed for our neighbors downstream. There's so much pain and death overriding everything, wielding our panic and our precious "for you I would do anything" loves against us. What is pretty is painful. What is painful is friend. Gasping gills, bludgeoned skin. This life, news breaking over and over. Flood of urine stench, a given of mothering, a gift, a failure, a fee. And so, after 90 years, a lake returns to wetlands. Okay, then. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much. Our next reader is Mary Lou Buschi.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much to Jennifer, Cindy, and Marjorie for the issue, for all they do for poetry, and for creating this space. So I'm going to read my poem from this issue, Sonnet Beginning with a Text. Sophomore year, I came back after a summer playing tennis. I had to place my position by beating the girls who didn't think I could. I placed third singles on varsity. Well, their mothers complained that I placed because my mother was the typing teacher. So I played the matches over and had to beat them again. The male coach went along with the mothers, spineless. Forehand, ground stroke, backhand until dusk. When being that good wasn't enough, the mothers circled like chicken hawks as the autumn mist rose from hot ground into an alchemy of golden light. I have lived my life like a saddle empty of a horse. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mary Lou. Our next reader is Mary Slechta.
Hi. Thank you. Everyone can hear me okay? Yeah. And thanks again for Marjorie, Jen, and Cindy. And it's just such a nice afternoon of listening. I'm just having a great time listening to everybody. So this is fantastic. I'm not going to read the whole story, but I'm going to read the beginning of my story called First Attempt. Miss Hightower is a nosy bitch. I know. Today is Sunday, and I shouldn't be cussing. Your mama home? She asks when she sees me on top of the porch. 2 cardboard wings are yoked over my shoulders with rope. I've taped latches for my hands on the underside so the wings rise a little when I shrug. Satan, she says like he stepped between us on the sidewalk. Don't try me. She leaves her car running and rings the bell. I hear muffled conversation before Mama comes out to the yard and glares up. Girl, get your ass inside. A purple ostrich feather flutters on top of Miss Hightower's big church hat. Maybe I should have used feathers instead of gluing strips of black garbage bags, but feathers are no guarantee either. Ask the baby birds I buried in the yard. I'ma pray for you, she tells me before she scoots back into her car. Her grandson Levener is staring from the back seat. Big girl like you. Behind me, Mama is stomping up the stairs. I tell my feet, hog, dog, chicken, frog, but they got nothing but excuses. Not enough wind, No one outside to tell at school, did none y'all see Darlene fly? No one except bug-eyed Leavener, who don't talk, and even if he did, no one would believe him. Mama pokes her mad head through the window. So help me God, Darlene, you got 5 seconds to take off that mess.
Thanks so much, Mary. And the final reader in my group, last but not least in my group, is Olga Livshin.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. What wonderful work. Really enjoying this. I'm going to read my poem from this issue called The Secret Life of Soups. It was written when I wanted to take a picture, yet another picture, before I don't entirely know of the soup I was making and realized it was gorgeous and also a complete waste of time to making so many soups for so many hours. Now, here we are, The Secret Life of Soups. 2 shiitake mushrooms at the top of the pot float in the broth, tender as a newborn's nipples. They gaze at me with surprise. What is this thingy life? Why are we here? I long to say, why am I? To each object that I bathe, prepare, dress, in the silken shirts of cooking, I am mother. Carrots coo, help, oh help us. Ill with being mere objects, we yearn for my peeler, my mighty opposable thumbs. Celery desires good cutlery. So much love and all of it unreciprocated. Today, 44 and in good health, I promote myself from a cook of soups to their oceanographer. Shrunken by the body shrinker, kids show, securely attached to a toy submarine, I drop in. The splash I made at the entrance shakes the scallions. They yelp and swim in surprise. The broth is rich with soy sauce and dashi, somber as cathedral air. Golden beads of sweat rise from the seaweed sheets. In the hot liquid, their chemistry is volatile and profound. This curious liquid could smother me, boil me, if I let it, but I do not let it. I speak to the broccoli, Camarado, I agitate you with a spoon. It is astonishing here, in the dark green underwater cups, among the treasures from the Japanese market, meatballs scamper the pot like crabs. A school of fish cake sails by, white balls of uncertain content, machine painted, with pink in Osaka. Globalization brings vast distances to our stomachs. Do all ingredients soften? Time to climb out. Mommy, rinse me, the pot cries, or I will grow mold. I wash it then, dice celery with my good cutlery. A carrot wishes to be undressed. I help her. Then I see a cut on my finger, blood slowly pooling. I bandage my hand and go on cutting. Thank you.
Thank you, Olga. Thank you so much. And now I'll turn the mic over to Marjorie.
Hello again, everybody, and thank you so much for the beautiful readings that we just heard. So our next group of readers and final group of readers for the evening will be Rebecca Brock, Rocio Franco, Sarah Ann Stinnett, Shauna M. Morgan, Shauna Ervin, Susan Siegel, and Wendy Boydegraff. I'm putting their names in the chat and also a link to find out a little bit more about the issue if anybody's interested. Okay, so first up, Rebecca Brock, please.
Hi, thank you, everyone, Cindy, Marjorie, and Jen for this. I have been wanting to be in an issue of Mom Egg Review for a very long time. So I am going to read a poem about a tiger beetle. And the first, there's a connected poem that's up over at Sweetlit from a number of years ago. This one's called, it's in the issue, Contraction, Dilation, Duration. Let us return to the tiger beetle. Again and again, she outruns her field of vision, goes blind because she moves too fast. She's learned or evolved a pause, almost a brief hesitation, a stop long enough to allow herself a chance to reorient. If time is relative, motion, movement, that pulse of a body through space, perception only measured against another object, pray for our beetle, and what for us? A tree standing still, a mother, a father, the way my sister holds her beauty in solitude, the way my life reckons around my sons, even their beginning, contraction, dilation, duration. And now I can't keep up. In new ways, begin to know I too am a species threatened. I show them the iridescent tiger beetle, caught but released and in no hurry to flee, because even this creature knows to settle herself first, to rub and rinse her antenna and mandibles, smooth her long arched legs before setting off again at speed into another unknown, all relative in the end to focus and need. Thank you.
Next, Rocio Franco, please. Okay, I think Rocio's not here. Sarah Ann Stinnett.
Yes, thank you so much. Can you hear me okay? Wonderful. Thank you, Marjorie and Jennifer and Cindy. What a treat to hear and hold these poems, and I'm so pleased that I get to join. The stories grief tells. It is easy to forget things. Here, the mindless wind moves the world in its quickening. And I think I can feel the earth's hard-headedness, the clear air curving as it shoves the day forward. I remember when I believed all the lies I told my mother, the way she looked across the room, dozing, ebbing slowly backward, her thinning hair loose and feather soft, how I could almost see her head's tender skin glow, as if her whole mind were light inside her. Then at once everything I felt was love for her, my mother, safe in that breath-width moment between being awake and being away.
Thank you. Thank you, Sarah. That was lovely. Shauna and Morgan, our next reader.
Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me all right. Yes, okay. I'm so grateful to be here. Thank you to these wonderful editors and for this community. I'm going to read my poem More Than Ever. I'm just grateful to have it in this issue. It will also appear in my forthcoming collection with Peepal Tree Press, which will be out in September. More than ever. Mama fell into a trembling cry, hands hushing her wet face. I ran behind Daddy, small leather grip in his hands, full of American hopes, soon thrown into the Lada's trunk and dusted down the Marl Road. I hurried through the gate after school one day to find her standing near the clothesline, wooden clips holding his white shirts, flapping their yearly hello on the breeze in case he would return soon, like he did one night, tapping on the aluminum window, frightening everyone but me, because every day I had expected him to. And she smiled more beautifully than the days before, and I was happy to tell him that she was the farmer, that we had 17 cows and 1 calf that had not died in birth, that we had lime trees, grapes, Scotch bonnets, sweet potatoes, and plums more than ever. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shauna. And our next reader is also a Shauna. Shauna Ervin. I have a daughter named Shauna, so it's not that usual a name. So we have lots of Shaunas today.
have known many. Yeah, thank you for having me here. It is amazing to hear all of these wonderful pieces and be among them. All right, so I'm going to read some of the piece that was in this issue. It's called Instructions for a Special Education Meeting. Arrive early. Check in at the office. Remember the woman's name who buzzes you in is Carmen. Ask how she is. Pretend she answers. In the classroom, look for signs of the caseworker's life. Who is important to her? Her hobbies or interests. Notice how she has her room organized. Find something to compliment. What a great calming corner. Those pillows are perfect. Say hi to the therapist. Physical, occupational, speech. Shake hands. Make eye contact. Try to remember who does what for whom when you need them later. Make a joke about the legal notices, how many times you've received them. Take them anyway. Plan to recycle this packet like at least a dozen before. Notice a breeze. Look out the open window. Orange and golden leaves float down from trees to where your car is parked. Make a note to clean your gutters in the next few weeks before it snows. Look at each person. Use their names. When it comes to strengths, be concrete. John likes to clean up his toys. John likes to organize the spice cupboard. John does well with two-step directions. Nod when his caseworker says that John is good at advocating for himself. No, that means John asks lots of questions. Asks often for headphones or a bathroom break. Smile and support. I'll stop there.
Thank you, Shauna. And as with all of the prose samples that are not quite the full text, you can read the rest in the issue if you like. Our next reader is Susan Siegel.
Thank you. Can you hear me? I'm so honored to be among all these incredibly beautiful women, both physically and artistically. It's very much an honor. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I'm going to read from just a bit of the fiction piece I have in this issue, and I think it's apt following Shauna's story. It's called Magic. I asked him what he meant to do with the knife. He said, I wanted to stab him, as cool as you please, his face blank, his voice matter of fact. I took a deep breath. Why, I asked him, did you want to do that? Because he wouldn't leave me alone, he said, again, matter-of-factly, as if this would be perfectly plain to anyone who bothered to pay attention. But, I said, he's supposed to keep an eye on you. That's his job, I said. He won't stop bothering me, he said, his perfect mouth turned down. He was in second grade. In 5 months, he would be 8 years old. He was in shock, I think, shocked that what had happened had caused such a furor. So I brought a knife to school, and I planned to stab my classroom aide. So what, his eyes said. Why all the fuss? I cried in front of the principal, who was coldly sympathetic. Children are expelled for this, you know. I know, I said. I didn't know how I knew, but I knew. His teacher loved him. She would not believe that he had brought the knife on his own without provocation. The boys he hangs out with are trouble, she said, when she called me into the school, and the aide is inexperienced. The guy's always on him, never leaves him alone, never lets him play like a normal kid, she said. It was the last day of school. They told me to take him home and await word about what would happen next. When I walked to our car holding his sweaty little hand, I didn't know if we would ever be allowed to come back. Why are you crying? He asked me. Because a terrible thing has happened, I said. What? He said. What has happened? I called my ex-husband. I cried so much he had a hard time understanding me. I never liked that school, he said, having never stepped foot in it. You need to fix this, he added. I know, I said, thinking how over the years what had to be fixed for our son kept getting harder and harder. I have to go, he said, the way he always did.
I knew I'd do it. I knew I'd mute myself. Anyway, thank you, Susan. That was lovely. Our final reader this evening is Wendy Boyd DeGraff.
Hi, everyone. Thank you to Marjorie, Cindy, and Jennifer for this wonderful issue. And thank you, everyone, for your wonderful words. It's been such a lovely evening listening to all of you. My piece is microfiction, East Hills Cobblestone. For you, the old reupholstery place held endless allure. The fabric samples crammed in the front, books and books of tweed, velvet, leather, vinyl, canvas, linen. You stood there and pet the greens, and then the browns, the blues. Hue by hue, you touched the rough, the soft naps, the bumpy woven fibers. You wanted to touch them all. You traced the lines on twill, the creases in leather, the stripes of canvas cottage fabric. Endless entertainment there, while the recently recovered chairs and love seats sat a few steps up in the three-pane display window. The upholsterer himself, working in a crowded back room with industrial sewing machines, needles, and thread. He'd been there 30 years, his father 50 before that, and he wasn't budging. Both of you, out of place in a world that expected change. For me, the cobblestone street in the old part of town held the mysteries of the past, the charm of small rooms and wooden window frames. I liked the new shops, the butcher with her chalkboard and mortadella in the cabinet, the sloped wooden planks of the bookstore, carefully curated for a gentrified clientele. There's wine and houseware shops, the old pipes and ductwork in the ceiling, carefully painted reddish brown, the most expensive wines with necks reaching up, up, up. A rolling ladder for employees only. The wine at eye level, $5 more per bottle than I usually spend. But the handwritten placards entice me with licorice, white pepper, and dusty pencil shavings. We took advantage, the upholsterer watching you while I respited with shopping bags. You looked old enough to be a customer, your intensity visible, even through the warped glass picture window. We pretended, I pretended, that he wanted you there, where you didn't need your silencing headphones. The drone of sewing and the old yellow lights soothed you. I browsed the housewares next door, wine glasses with tiny certification stickers attesting to their crystalness, porcelain pitchers painted with watermelon and lemon, unstained honeycomb towels with white and yellow stripes. The entry door clanged with each new customer. I picked up the jar of lingonberry jam and replaced it. I inhaled the scent of lemon oil candles. No questions, no eyes tracking my movements, no pleas for videos you had already memorized. Those Saturdays, we pretended we were somewhere else, someone else. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Wendy. What a beautiful group of readers we have had this evening, and how wonderful their exposition of the many facets of motherhood. So I'm going to ask you all to unmute for a second, and we'll just have a nice round of applause for all of our readers today. It will be actually heard. And thank you to our guests for coming. I put once again in the chat the information about the issue. So please feel free to go on our website and check out different aspects about the issue. And I should mention too, that we are open for submissions again. And while we ask that people who appeared in an issue wait a year before submitting again, perhaps you know other writers that you would like to let know about it. It's a themed issue on mothers and family. So once again, thank you so much for coming. This reading will be edited and up on our YouTube channel next week, and I'll share the link with you so that any of your friends and fans that didn't make it can hear some of your beautiful words. And thanks a lot. Thanks, Jen and Cindy, too. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Marjorie.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Right.